Four Mexicans in the field: Santiago Creel, Pablo Sanchez Lopez, Eduardo Leon and Ricardo Perez. But all the focus is going to be on the battle for the 2017 Porsche Supercup Championship. Matt Campbell on pole isn't involved, but Ammermuller and Olsen behind him very much are. All 5 lights are on, and we're racing in Mexico City. It's a pretty good start from Campbell. He chops across in front of Ammermuller now. Olsen lurking in behind. Who's going to be the bravest on the brake stand into turn 1? They're all going to be getting a great slipstream off the back of Matt Campbell. Campbell hugs the inside line. Ammermuller goes to the outside just a little bit, but they're all fairly well behaved. Here comes Zaid Ashkenani around the outside of Dan Kamish. What a great move from the Q80, and Olsen's going to get in there, and he does get a little bit of a nudge. Keeps it on the straight and narrow just about. Ashkenani very aggressive off the start there. There's some damage further back, I think, to Tom Sharp, but Matt Campbell leads the way. Ammermuller in second. You can still see Olsen wiggling from left to right to try and get some heat into those tyres. Meanwhile, Ashkenani still pressuring. No, he's getting passed, in fact, by Josh Webster. Webster around the outside of Ashkenani. That's a great little move. Daniele Diamato in the orange car bouncing over the curbs further back as he tries to do battle with Philip Morin. Paul Rees is getting involved and has to take to the curb in terms of evasive action, but it's Matt Campbell who is leading the way now. Second for Ammermuller, third for Olsen, fourth for Kamish, fifth for Webster, sixth for Ashkenani. As they come down, and Ashkenani now under pressure from Mattia Drudi as well in the green Porsche. Some darting around as well from Robert Lucas. He's ahead of Ilgor Velilko, who's having to defend from Julian Andlauer. Andlauer trying to go all the way around the outside at 12 to give him the inside line for 13, but not quite close enough. Daniele Diamato under attack as well, coming into the hairpin left-hander of 13. But out they come to complete lap 1, and Dennis Olsen, as he was for the whole race yesterday, tucked right underneath the rear wing of Michael Ammermuller. Ammermuller just needs a top 3 finish, and he's the champion of 2017. Latour going side by side with Andlauer, and they're getting involved, I think, with Ryan Cullen. It's Mikkel Overgaard Pedersen trying to battle with them in their squabble over 12th position. Ammermuller offline. Fantastic to see the cars flash through there. Campbell's lead, 7/10 of a second at the end of that first lap. The good news for Ammermuller is he has his sister car, Dan Kamish, involved in this fight as well. Incident involving Tom Sharp is under investigation. We saw him running wide earlier on in the first lap. So we'll try and figure out what has happened. I think he might be out of this race, Tom Sharp, unfortunately. Just as yesterday, Matt Campbell is pulling clear up at the front. Very exciting young prospect from Australia, from Warwick in Queensland. As they come down to the stadium, the Foro Sol baseball stadium, for the second time. There's Olsen in car number 4. Here's a look at the start then. Good start in there from Paul Rees, but almost had to go onto the grass to try and take advantage of it. The top 3 all pretty well behaved and pretty even off the start as well. And then look at Zaid Ashkenani in the white and blue car. 23-year-old Q80 trying to stick it around the outside of Dan Kamish at turn 1, which was really impressive stuff. Didn't quite come off, and he subsequently lost the place to Josh Webster. There was Daniele Diamato bouncing over the curbs. And there's Tom Sharp, so something's gone wrong with him there. You can see the front left looked as though it was broken. This is the replay of the start on board with Olsen. Drops the clutch. Decent enough getaway. It was Ammermuller who got the best start out of the 3 of them. Olsen will start to get the slipstream, but just a little bit too far back. This is Egidio Perfetti's onboard camera. There's Paul Rees's great start over on the left-hand side that I mentioned a moment ago. Perfetti looking to win the Class B title. Eventually deciding to, well, it's almost like he didn't shift up there, Perfetti. That was weird, wasn't it? Or was he just super early on the brakes? Keep an eye on Tom Sharp there on the left-hand side. He comes into turn 1. And where was there going to be a bump in there? And wide goes Dennis Olsen. And Dennis Olsen is under big pressure now. Dan Cammish it was trying to get past. Cammish now defending from Josh Webster. All this is allowing Albemuller through. A little bit of nudging there from Webster. Zaid Ashkanani involved in the fight, but all of a sudden, Michael Albemuller has disappeared up at the front. Campbell and Albemuller pulling away. And Dennis Olsen is so far back now from his title rival. Cammish covers the inside line. Webster in the white and red number 5 car tries to get the inside line. He's got Ashkanani right behind him, then Thomas Preining, then Matteo Drudi, then Robert Lucas. Matt Campbell sets the fastest lap of the race, 1.1 seconds clear of Albemuller. They're both 2.6 seconds clear of Dennis Olsen. Cammish defending, hugging the inside line. It'll be the dirty line for the braking zone, but it looks as though he's got it stopped. Has he? Very, very deep in there. Webster desperately trying to find a way past. Cammish bouncing over the curb, sliding the car out. And that's going to allow Webster to have the outside line. This is all the battle over 4th position. And Josh Webster, is he going to get it done? No, Cammish is later on the brakes. Is he too late on the brakes? Oh, just a little bit. Ashkanani sees the opportunity up the inside. Robert Lucas sees the opportunity around the outside in the number 11 car to go past Thomas Preining. Great work from Robert Lucas, the Polish driver, to gain another place. Starting his 8th, or finishing his 8th season, Robert Lucas. Thomas Preining deciding, what's the point in going round the corners, let's go straight in the number 3 car. Oh, and there we've got problems for Mark Radcliffe. He has come together with one of the Mexican drivers, it's Pablo Sanchez Lopez. So look at this again, this was Cammish and Webster going side by side. Cammish late on the brakes. Ashkanani tries to get in the action here as well, but doesn't quite get the drive. And then Robert Lucas in number 11 goes around the outside of Preining. Really great work from Robert Lucas. And this is Lopez. Well, I'm not 100% sure if they came together there. Looks as though Radcliffe might have lost him by himself, and Lopez tried to slow, and he was sent spinning as well from the hit from Santiago Creel. So 2 Mexicans getting a little bit involved with each other. Now what have we got going on? Robert Lucas defending from Thomas Preining. Lap 5 of 16, but Albemuller is now 3 seconds clear of Olsen. Robert Lucas all over the place on the exit of turn 3. That incident between Sanchez Lopez and Radcliffe is under investigation by the stewards as well. Lucas covering the inside line, Preining to try and go all the way around the outside. Not quite. Thought he was going to do it for a moment. Matteo Drudi sees that opportunity up the inside of 6 and says, grazie mille. Oh, a little bit of rubbing there, but the move is made by Matteo Drudi. Keeping an eye on all of this is Igor Velilko, the other Polish driver in car number 12. Is the 24 car of Ryan Cullen, the Irish driver, who's driver coached by Adam Carroll, the former A1 GP champion and GP2 race winner. Very wide there for Robert Lucas. Just about keeps it in 7th position for the time being. Igor Velilko getting a good run on Preining and going through. What a good move there from Igor Velilko. Only 19. Igor Velilko, been racing single-seaters for the last 3 years, and this is his first season in tin tops. Albemuller in 2nd place has just set the fastest lap of the race. Does Albemuller want to win this title with a win in the final race? Meanwhile, Velilko in the black car on the inside, defending from Thomas Preining. But Preining just sweeps around the outside of turn 1. A little bit of a nudge coming into 2. Ryan Cullen in the black and white 24. At the back of that queue, just keeping a watching brief at the moment. And as it stands, 2nd place man Michael Albemuller will take the championship. 2 wins in Spain, a win in Monaco and a win in Hungary as well. Oh, so there's, oh dear, Santiago Creel. Bodywork flying off him. Now, he had that contact a little earlier on with his compatriot. It looks as though that might be the end of the day. He's still running actually in 22nd place, Santiago Creel. Campbell leads, Ammermuller second, Olsen third, the same order in which they started off the grid. Kamish in fourth, then Webster in fifth. Oof. Robert Lucas in seventh, again under attack from Mattia Drudi. Drudi, who was elated to be on the podium in his home race in Monza last time out. Had a difficult race yesterday, finishing well down the order after contact. On to lap 7 of 16. Here comes the green machine to try and make the move. Robert Lucas covers the inside line. This is the squabble over 7th place. Drudi looks to the outside. Oh, Lucas has gone in deep. Surely that's the place gain for Drudi, that he's locked up as well. And all that allows Thomas Preining back into the squabble. Top 6 fairly line astern. Lucas on the inside though here for 7th place. Drudi on the outside. Can't get all the way around the outside, Mattia Drudi. Now he's going to get the inside into 6th though. Really good work from the Italian, and Thomas Preining will say thank you very much, I'm coming through as well. So 2 places lost in 2 corners for Robert Lucas. All slipping away from that first outbreaking of himself down into turn 1. With a little think about passing Igor Valilko. Valilko in the 12 car, holding on for the time being. Drudi having to defend from Preining now. A bit of a nudge there from Preining, who will be a Porsche Junior in the Supercup next year. So just getting a little bit of a taste of the championship and acquitting himself very well, running in 8th place at the moment. Drudi it is there in 7th place. Second in the Porsche Carrera Cup Italy last year. Drudi also finished second in Italian Formula 4 back in 2014, behind a certain Lance Stroll. Campbell leading, Ammermuller second, Olsen third. That's enough to give Ammermuller the championship. Kamish in fourth, Webster in fifth, Ashkanani in sixth, and then it's this Drudi Preining battle over 7th place. Battle further back, Chris Bauer, Roar Lindland, Egidio Perfetti, oh, and spinning into the wall is Ricardo Perez. Out of the final corner, and he's taken off the rear wing there. Well, not quite taken it off, but certainly done a little bit of damage. Look how close it is for the lead of the race now. Matt Campbell ahead of Michael Ammermuller. Ammermuller has closed in on the Australian. Dennis Olsen, who yesterday looked destined to overtake Ammermuller but was unable to do so. Suddenly, Ammermuller is right on the back of the race leader, coming out over the start-finish line. Halfway point, 8 laps completed, 8 to go. On board with Ammermuller, up through the gears. Right foot planted on the throttle, left foot braking, on the run down into turn 1. Campbell just covering the inside line a little bit. First or second in the race won't affect either of these 2 drivers really. Campbell would still finish 3rd in the championship. Ammermuller would still take the title. But the FAC Autotech car wanting to stay in front of the Volta Lechner car. We go on board with Ammermuller. want to finish this season how he started it, with a victory. Since he won the first 3 races, he only won 1 race since then, which was in Hungary at the end of July. Back on the power. Little feathering of the throttle. Back on the power again. Down a gear into the right-hander of 10. Accelerating out through 11. '90-degree right-hander of 12 coming up. Not quite as close this time around. Oh, look how late he's on the brakes, Ammermuller, coming into the hairpin of 13. And then a better line through the rest of the stadium section. That's really, really strong stuff from Ammermuller. And a really neat drive out of the final corner as well. So that's where Ammermuller is very, very strong. 1/10 of a second quicker than Campbell in that final sector. And that's what means he is right underneath the rear wing of the race-leading Porsche. Matt Campbell, the Australian, does he defend? Yes, very late in the day. Ammermuller goes to the outside. Meanwhile, Dennis Olsen's under pressure from Dan Camish into turn 1. Olsen wanted to be battling with his title rival up in front, but as it stands, he's having to defend from Dan Camish. An incident involving Paul Rees and Philip Morin is under investigation. So we'll let you know about that when we find out any more details. One of the slower cars pulling out of the way there, that is Lopez, who we've seen involved in some skirmishes already. Now Ammermuller closer to Olsen through this middle sequence than he was last time around. And as a result, sorry, closer to Campbell, I should say. And as a result, he may well be close enough for a look at 13. So good on the brakes, is he? He thinks about it, doesn't he? Campbell has to defend. Actually, Campbell has a tiny bit of an advantage, a bigger advantage this time around. It's 3/10 of a second this time across the line. But in some ways, it's not too bad being a little further back, because you get a bit more of a slingshot with the slipstream, but not on this occasion, I don't think. Campbell doesn't feel the need to defend. Ammermuller shows his nose, lap 11 of 16. Whoa, lock up from Campbell. Race leader locks up. And now Ammermuller floors the throttle and goes for the race lead. And oh, and off is Dan Camish. Has he brushed the barriers there? I think he has, but here comes Ammermuller for the lead around the outside of 3. Not quite able to do it. Camish is dropping down the order. Webster's through. Ashkenani is through. Webster locks up. So what on earth happened to Dan Camish down there? Campbell still holding the lead up at the front meanwhile. On board we go with Ammermuller in second place. Sliding around on Campbell's car. This is what happened to Dan Camish. Tried to go around the outside of Olsen at 1. Tried to go all the way around the outside. Oh, that was magnificent from Camish. What went wrong, though? Came into the right-hander at 3. Oh, got on the dirty stuff, and he has hit the barrier. Dan Camish. Oh, this will be cool. Oh, see that rear wing flex and snap. Just got on the dirty part of the circuit, Camish. Out onto the start, finish straight again. Onto lap 12 of 16. Race leader Matt Campbell defending heavily from Michael Ammermuller. Ammermuller to the outside. Is he going to think about a dummy? No. Also doesn't try and pull off what Dan Camish did on the previous lap. On board we go with Ammermuller. So early on the throttle. Is he going to have another look into into four, I should say? The 90-degree left-hander coming up. Much earlier on the brakes than Campbell. Very wide at the same time. That was an odd one from Ammuller. Seemed to be earlier on the brakes, but at the same time couldn't get the car turned in. As a result, he's dropped a bit of a way back. What are we looking at here? Ryan Cullen attacking Igor Velilko into turn 12. Oh, and then Julian Andlauer tries to come through as well. And Velilko is sent spinning. Here are our leaders, Ammuller in the number 1 car there in 2nd place. Not the champion from last year, Michael Ammuller. Finished 4th in the standings. Was the highest placed driver to carry on in the Porsche Supercup. But he may well have the number 1 if he returns next year as being the champion. Because out of the final corner he comes. 4 laps to go for this man, Michael Ammuller. He's now half a second back from Matt Campbell, 5.5 seconds clear of Olsen. Olsen is quicker on that last lap, actually, than the race leaders by about 0.4 of a second. So the gap's come down, but it's a little bit too little too late for Dennis Olsen. See the gaps. Half a second back to Ammuller from Campbell in front. That's the battle we're watching. Dennis Olsen's in 3rd, Josh Webster in 4th. Zaid Ashkenani doing a good job in 5th ahead of Thomas Preining, Mattia Drudi and Robert Lucas. Those battles have slowed down a little bit, and Dan Camish has pitted. Dan Camish, after picking up that rear wing damage, is in the pits now, so presumably his race is done. Do anything about the race leader, Matt Campbell. Rumbling on the curves. Now into the Foro Sol Baseball Stadium. Ammuller just not quite as close to Campbell as he had been in previous laps. Come out now with 3 laps to go. Campbell, you can see, just weaving around a little bit to try and break the slipstream of Ammuller behind him. Dennis Olsen still 5.5 seconds further back. Campbell actually was the fastest man on that last lap. There is Olsen all by himself in 3rd position. It's not going to be enough for the Norwegian today as we go on board with him. Sealed the German Porsche Carrera Cup a couple of weeks ago, which is arguably the most prestigious of the national German championships, of the national Porsche championships, I should say. Big deal, the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland. So Olsen sealed the title there. But the Porsche Supercup, not quite able to do so, it seems. Still a couple of laps to go. Still things could change, but Ammuller surely is not going to take any unnecessary risks. The baseball stadium is filling up now as this race draws to its conclusion. Ammuller a 10th or so up in sector 1, so maybe the gap will come down again to half a second, but no, he was slower in that final sector actually, so he drops back to 0.6 of a second behind once again Matt Campbell. the fastest man on the circuit on that last lap as he looks to take his 4th win of the season. And it lines up for an incredibly exciting title fight next year. What's going on here then? Philip Morin, Egidio Perfetti and Chris Bauer all squabbling. Oh, Perfetti's lost it. And he's clipped Chris Bauer. This is the replay on board with Perfetti. You can hear as he locks the rears. And that sends him spinning around now. Has he been able to resume? Oh, another great super slow-mo. He didn't actually lock the rears, did he? Maybe only the right rear. But where is Perfetti running? He is now down in 20th place behind Roland Bourvil. So in terms of the championship, I think that would mean Bourvil would still finish runner-up to Perfetti, because Perfetti has a 4-point lead, yes, so still give Egidio Perfetti the B-class title. There's the order in the race though. Campbell, Ammermuller, Olsen and Webster. Campbell now looks to have got the job done through the final corner to start the final lap of this Mexico City circuit. Dennis Olsen, you can just see coming out of the final corner. Then it's Josh Webster. Zaid Ashkenani only just in front of Thomas Preining, and there's Florian Latour off the circuit. Is that? I think that's in the stadium. It's on the run down towards the stadium, and the right-hander at 12. Double waved yellows out for the Frenchman. So is that a reliability problem, or has he had a bit of damage? Let's see what he doesn't even bother to look at the car, just decides to get off the live race circuit, which seems a wise decision. So that means no overtaking down into turn 12 on this final lap. Let's have a look at what goes on here. Oh, the smoke pouring out of Florian Latour's car. Oof, really pouring. That is a spectacular way to end the race. Here's Matt Campbell, though, the race leader. Ammermuller looks a little bit closer to him, but the gap was about 9/10 of a second as they came across the line. Thomas Preining was only 2/10 ahead of Zaid Ashkenani, so the battle for 5th may still have a final twist in the tail. Let's have a look at them. Just coming into shot now. And here comes Ammermuller. There's Latour's parked car. Here is the race leader, Matt Campbell, for FAC Autotech, but here is champion-elect Michael Ammermuller. Just a couple more corners to go for the German. There's De Leon, one of the back markers. Matt Campbell, out of the final corner, is going to finish his season in style. 3rd in the championship, a double race win in Mexico City. But across the line comes Michael Ammermuller to take the championship. The 2017 Porsche Supercup champion is Michael Ammermuller. Dennis Olsen across the line in 3rd. Nothing he could do to stop the Bavarian from taking the championship for the Lecter MSG Racing team. A little thumbs up between Ammermuller and Olsen there. Good to see the two protagonists pretty much since the opening round of the season, to be honest, where in Barcelona Ammermuller won the first 2 races and Olsen finished 2nd in the first 2 races. There's the FAC Autotech squad, delighted with a double-header victory in Mexico City. 4 wins for Matt Campbell this season means he actually won more races than the man who finished in 2nd, Dennis Olsen, but it was a horrible 16th place in Hungary for Campbell that really ruined his championship chances, and a couple of 6th and 5ths here and there, whereas Olsen's only had 2 races this year off the podium. But there's Ammermuller with his door open, his left arm reaching out to wave to this very appreciative Mexico City crowd. He is the champion of 2017. Race winner before Ammermuller in likes of GP2 and A1GP. Olsen will be naturally disappointed, you would assume, to not take the championship title, but a second place in his debut season in the Porsche Supercup was nevertheless very impressive. He finishes the year as the top rookie. Matt Campbell, the race winner. Josh Webster doing a good job to finish in 4th place as well. Into the stadium section in a couple of moments. They'll be back there on top of the podium. Webster in 4th, Preining in 5th. So Preining did get past Zaid Ashkanani on that final lap of the race. Mattia Drudi in 7th, Robert Lucas in 8th. Ryan Cullen, good job from him to finish in 10th position. Zandvoort doing a few burnouts for the crowd in celebration. Very close to a Formula 1 drive back in the day, Michael Ammuller. He was a member of the Red Bull Junior team, and after Christian Klein was dropped by Red Bull in 2006, it was Robert Dornbos who was promoted to the 2nd seat, and Ammuller was the 3rd driver for the last races of the season, and did actually qualify for a super license, having tested the Red Bull, and then he was the full-time test driver for Red Bull in 2007. Now he is the drivers' champion in the Porsche Supercup, Michael Ammuller. Third in the Porsche Supercup in 2015, 4th last year. In fact, he's been 3rd in the Porsche Supercup in 2013, 2014 and 2015. He was 4th in 2016, but finally the German is the champion of the German Marque's most prestigious championship. A championship that's been supporting Formula 1 since back in 1993. It's a little high five with Matt Campbell, and there is Dennis Olsen on the right-hand side. There's the rubber that Ammuller has laid down. Here's a look at the results then. 28 minutes the race took, and Matt Campbell, the victor for the FAC Auto Tech team. Then Michael Ammuller and Dennis Olsen, the 2 title rivals, finishing in 2nd and 3rd, enough to give Ammuller the championship. The other FAC Auto car of Josh Webster in 4th. Impressive drive from Thomas Preining, the Austrian. He's going to be one to watch next year with Zaid Ashkanani. Again, a good result for him for the MRS GT racing team. The first of the Dynamic Motorsport squad, the Italian team, with Mattia Drudi in 7th spot. Further down, the other dynamic car of Daniele Diamato in 13th place. Roar Lindeland finishing in 15th place. Egidio Perfetti finishing all the way down in 24th in the end. So that should, I think, give Roland Burville the B-Class championship. Tom Sharp retired on the opening lap. Dan Camish knocked off his rear wing, and as a result finished down in 29th place.